We're going to take a look here at 2.3c. This is graphing slope-intercept form. So once I've got this equation solved for y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form, then I want to graph it. That's the whole point of putting it into that form. And so not only do I want to be able to pick out the slope and pick out the y-intercept, I want to actually be able to graph them. Okay? So that's kind of our look. So there's a lot of checks that can happen here when I'm going from an equation to a graph. And here's really the first one. Okay, so the type of slope. So if I have a positive slope, that line's going to go up from the left to the right. So if I draw a line that goes up from left to right, it should have a positive slope. If it does not, then you've done something wrong. The same thing if you've got a negative, that's going to go downward from left to right. Okay, and so if I look at the line and it goes downward from left to right, it should have a negative slope. If those things don't match up, then I'm doing something wrong. Okay, and then here's the two that are a little bit more confusing, a little bit less um, intuitive, I guess. They don't necessarily follow the fact that it's positive going up or negative going down. A zero slope is a horizontal line. So let's pretend that you were an airplane. Here's your airplane. There's a nice little tail there. Okay, so if you're an airplane and you're just hanging out, you're flying straight, you're not going up, positive, you're not going down, negative, you're just kind of hanging out. That means that you have no slope, zero slope, and m is equal to 0. Okay, your slope is 0. If you're in a plane and here's your plane, your little tail, it looks more like a skydiver. But if you're in a plane and your plane is going straight down, okay, so it's going straight down, that's a problem. Okay, and that is an undefined slope. So the undefined slope is a plane that's going straight down, a line that's going vertical, going straight up and down. There's issues there. Okay, and so when I look at these two types of equations, I want to maybe have a second way to remember how to remember it. And so I would say to you that possibly you could remember Voxhoy. Voxhoy. Okay? And so Voxhoy, this is going to stand for this side over here. So I'm going to go vertical. It's going to have a vertical line. U is going to stand for an undefined slope. And if I were to write the equation for this vertical line where the plane's going straight down, this would be x is equal to c. X is equal to some plane numbers. So this is an x equals equation. If I have an x equals equation, I have a vertical line with an undefined slope. So I can name all of those things, and Voxhoy will help me remember that. The hoy part really is for this one, okay, the horizontal line. And so this h is horizontal line. A horizontal line. A 0 is a 0 slope, okay, or no slope. And y, this is going to be y equals equation. So if I look at the equation of a 0 slope or a horizontal line, it's going to y equals 0x plus b, or just y equals b. Okay, so a y equals equation with no slope, written is going to be a horizontal line. Okay, and so I can write a y equals equation, and it follows the logic. There's no real issues with it. It's just a nice horizontal line, okay, going straight. But when I have an x equals equation, I can't write the slope because I can't get it in slope-intercept form. And so that's a problem. It's got an undefined slope, which gives me a vertical line. So let's go back to our actual graphing here. So I want to be able to name things. So I want to first put this in slope-intercept form. Done. Y equals mx plus b, where m is negative 1/3 and b is negative 3. So when I go to graph this, I'm going to start with the y-intercept. So this is my start. Okay, so I start at negative 3. The y-intercept is negative 3. That's where it crosses the y-axis. Okay? And then I'm going to use the slope, which is rise over run, to get to my next point. So I've got a negative 1/3. So I can go down 1 and right 3, or I could go up 1 and left 3. Either that negative could go on the top, be negative 1, or it could go on the bottom and be negative 3. Okay, and hopefully you have a little bit of recollection of what this looked like from last year. So number two, I've got a y equals mx plus b equation. Okay, so that's already set for us. The slope is the number in front of the x. Well, there's a lazy 1 in front of there. I want to write it as a fraction. Okay, so I get 1 over 1. And then the b, the y-intercept, is a 2. Okay, the constant number at the end is a 2. I want to start with my y-intercept, so I start with 2. And then I do rise over run, which means I'm going to go up 1 and right 1. Up 1 and right 1. Up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. It's such an easy graph that I want to keep drawing as many as I want to. But now I'm done. So here's my line. Okay, try to draw as straight a line as you can. I named the slope and the y-intercept, and I graphed it by starting with the y-intercept and then moving with the slope in a rise over run type of situation. If you don't have a fraction, then you're going to make a fraction, okay, by putting this over 1. If you do have a fraction, then you're just going to use the fraction as your rise over run. Going through, solving this, graphing each of these, double check, make sure that your slope works. So in number 1, we had a negative slope that was going down from left to right. Number 2, I had a positive slope that was going up from left to right. All those things check out. I've done my job. Finish graphing these. Make sure you ask questions if you have them.